The name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's queer, can do. This guy says the horse can do. If he says the horse can do.
I'm talking Valentine, cause on the morning line, the guy has got him figured at 5 to 9.
But look at champion taps, you need to buy a half. According to this here in the telegraph.
For both year of bite, I hear the script's alright. Cause it all depends if it's rain last night.
I know it's Valentine, the lights look fine. Besides the dog, he's brothers a friend of mine.
Hey, just a minute, boys, I got the Raybox noise. It says the great-grandfather was equipoise.
I chose some spear, now these are some steer. It's from a Untitled Chapter, that's real sincere.
I go for Valentine, cause on the morning line, the guy says figured at 5 to 9.
So make it champion taps, you have to buy a half. According to this here in the telegraph. Every time
I got the horse right here.
It started, as a little toy shop where they made whirligigs of little windmills and sold them in the house that's next to the theater. And then it was 83 years ago, I forget which year, it was purchased by a man named Dunbar, and he turned it into a arts center. And a number of years later, not many years later, it was purchased by a woman named Mary Winslow, and she ran it as a professional theater company, bringing in actors from New York, and they put on plays right through the war. They didn't run during the war, everything was shut down, but all the way up to 1956, I think, when she died. And then the theater was on the market, and a lady named Elizabeth Baker, who summered in Chatham and lived with her husband John Baker, who was the president of Ohio University, she saw that it was on the market, and she was very interested in theater at Ohio, so she bought it, and she turned it over to the university, leased it to them to run as a summer theater, which they did for 55 years, I think, 5 or 6 years. Then the University of Ohio, after all those years, built a theater in Ohio for the summer. And at that time, the University of Hartford had been supporting it along with Ohio, and they've taken over the support of it since. So it's basically the 83rd year that it's been operating as a theater, except for those 4 years during the war.
It's really fun to come back and feel like a big kid, to go out into the world and come back and really look forward to seeing a lot of the same familiar faces.
I love you, a bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck.
There was a lot of energy, energy about the shows you were rehearsing, energy about the show that was going up, excitement for the rest of the season, pride and joy about the show that just closed, but of course you couldn't linger on that because there was so much more to do. The energy and the fun and the camaraderie are the things I remember most.
We still do a sort of a semi-classic season. We do a classical musical, a new one, classic plays, Shakespeare, Ibsen, Shaw, comedies, and some contemporary. But it's getting harder and harder because people, even on Broadway today, if you look at last season, how many plays were there? 5, 6 plays. 2 of them were revivals. It's a rapidly changing audience. So the thing that makes us somewhat different is that we don't do just 8 musicals. We do, we're doing Scapino, which is based on Moliere's Commedia story, and then we're doing an Ibsen play, and then a really funny musical again, and then an Noel Coward play, and then a Shakespeare, and so on and so forth. That's the difference. And it's challenging. It's always been challenging to do them. It's becoming more and more challenging to keep an audience interested in that type of work.
Suddenly Seymour is standing
beside
I feel like everybody's on top of their game and working really hard. And it's a new style for some people, but you can tell that everybody's really trying to dig in to this style. And rehearsals are really fun to watch, really fun for the scenes that we're in, and really exciting to sit on the sidelines and watch all the other scenes.
Tell me this feeling will last till forever. Tell me the bad times are clean washed away.
Please understand that it's still strange and frightening for losers like I've been. So hard to say.
One of the biggest things I'd probably say is just the fact that so many shows can be done in such a short amount of time, and it's really a collaborative effort, and like it's like the perfect atmosphere for this kind of work.
The location right in the heart of Chatham, you have such an amazing community, and the shows that we are doing in our season and the amount of shows that we are doing in such a short period of time is going to be really challenging, but really rewarding at the same time.
And like everyone's so, you know, everyone's always there for each other, everyone is always putting in the work, and the shows are just always, I'm always blown away by them. And it's, having been here before, having been in the scene shop versus being an actor, I just appreciate like every single aspect that people do here.
The voices you just heard is the acting company, but as you know, that's a little less than half of the Monomoy Theatre company. I hope you've had a chance to meet some of the extraordinary artists that design the sets, build the costumes, build them, build the props, do the lights. It's a full package deal. Bigger than Warner Bros.
It's rather nice to suddenly find you've got a whole new area which you know nothing about, which is acting and performance, and learning about it, and it has been an education. But I think the thing I enjoy most is the company of the cast. I mean, they're all students from all across North America. And they're wonderful. They're incredibly clever, they're very talented, they're passionate about their craft. They're also irreverent, they're fun to be around, and it means, I'm a writer, so I spend most of my life, writing is a solitary vice, so most of my life I spend alone at a desk. And then suddenly I have these 3 wonderful months every summer where I get these wonderful, wonderful students who, I'm not going to say they treat me with any respect at all, but it's great fun to be around them.
We draw some tremendous talent from other universities like the University of Connecticut. Our technical staffs are really crackerjack. I think the theater's, it's gotten better, but it's still enough the same. And there's enough tradition here that the students are always getting the same kind of training.
I think that it's like definitely a medley of so many different kinds of backgrounds and opinions and people that it's really something special.
One of the lovely things about being a Monomoy is you do make friendships with obviously not all of the cast. I mean, there's 35, 40 of them every year.
There was one night where Cher brought out a bonfire and it was s'mores night, and we all got to make s'mores, and we all had a battle to see who could make the best roasted marshmallow. And I just thought that that was really sweet because she just went out of her way to do something really nice for us, and it was just like a nice moment in the courtyard where we were all together.
And those friendships are very, very precious. And it's also enormously interesting to watch their careers as they go on from Monomoy. I mean, many into either professional television acting or theatre acting. I mean, there's obviously Juan, a lovely boy from 2 years ago, who I think still very, very friendly with, who's now on Broadway. And he's not alone. And that certainly those friendships for both Judy and myself are very precious.
I really just am going to go where this place takes me, you know. The schedule and the way that this place runs is such that it definitely will require me to do some bending over backwards to make it happen, and I'm excited to do so.
Yeah, I don't know, you just kind of say a prayer and do your best and hope that you hit all your marks so that, you know, you bring your best to the stage every night.
Well, I think one of the great lessons you learn in working at the Monomoy is how to manage time and how very fine art can be done very quickly if everybody's pulling on the same rope. And I think that it's an amazing example of collaboration and cooperation when people are able to spend all of their energies in a finite amount of time to create something, as opposed to having a languid, luxurious time. The essential things begin to show themselves. So the things that are the most important to put on the stage get the most attention. You don't have time to luxuriate. And I think that's a lesson for all of us. It's been a lesson for me, and it's a lesson for the students, of course. But I think all the professional actors who work at this theater learn a good lesson about good use of time.
It's very, very hectic, but there's some kind of beautiful order to it that Alan has definitely put together.
I have learned so much from being here. I've gotten to do so many different roles in so many different shows, and gotten to stretch myself in ways I didn't think I could possibly do.
I think it's just most important to maintain that sense of community, especially when you're living and working so closely with about, 45 to 50 something people at all times. I think it's really important to learn how to live and work in that community. And I think that we did a really good job of it this summer.
I think if you come here, you're going to get some of the best of the best. We bring in top-notch students, we train them well, we do the very best plays there are, and even though we do it quickly, we generally do a very good job of it.
I love you, a bushel and a peck, though it beats me all to heck. Beats me all to heck, how I'll ever tend the farm when I want to keep my arms about you. The cows and chickens are going to the dickens. I love you, a bushel and a peck, you bet your pretty neck I do. Doodle-doodle-doo-doo, doodle-doodle-doo-doo, doodle-doodle-doo-doo. Woo! Goodbye now! Doodle-doodle-doo-doo, doodle-doodle-doo-doo,
That's all, folks.